Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Om ajnanatimirandasya ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। विद्यातपो वित्तवपूर्वया कुलैः। सॉरी। विद्यातपो वित्तवपूर्वया कुलैः सतां गुणैषड्भिरसक्तमेतरैः स्मृतौ हतायां हृतमानदुर्दृशः स्तब्धा न पश्यन्ति हि धाम भूयसाम्। गुणाधिकान् मुदं लिप्सेत् अनुक्रोशं गुणाधमात् मैत्रीं समानाद् अन्विच्छेन्न तापैरभिभूयते। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत् अखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणः श्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। भक्तिं मुहुः प्रवहतां त्वयि मे प्रसङ्गो भूयादनन्तमहताममलाशयानां येनाञ्जसोल्मणमुरु व्यसनं भवाब्धिं निःशे भवद्गुणकथामृतपानमत्तः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We are, by the mercy of Lord Krishna, by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna, continuing our study of Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth Canto, chapter 2, entitled Daksha Curses Lord Shiva. Text 8. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam 4.2.8. प्राणिशणं मृदं दृष्ट्वा नामृषत्तद् अनादृतः उवाच वामं चक्षुर्भ्याम् अभिविक्ष दहन इव. Translations and purports by our revered, beloved founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Shri Srimad Abhay Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Previously we saw how Prajapati Daksha was conducting a yajna, and all the devatas, all the demigods had assembled. When Prajapati Daksha entered the Yajna the arena of the sacrifice, he was extremely effulgent. He looked like a sun. Seeing his effulgence, everyone stood up and gave him honor and respect. Lord Brahma did not stand up because Daksha is Lord Brahma's son. Lord Brahma went and offered obeisances. Beg your pardon. Prajapati Daksha went and offered obeisances to Lord Brahma. Lord Shiva, who from the spiritual perspective is much more advanced than Prajapati Daksha. In fact, Lord Shiva is a superior tattva. Prajapati Daksha is Jiva tattva, and Lord Shiva is a separate tattva in himself. He is Rudra tattva, much superior. Lord Shiva is practically Bhagwan. Lord Shiva did not stand up, but from a Laukik point of view, from a Paralaukic point of view, Lord Shiva is way superior to Prajapati Daksha. From a Paralaukic point of view, from a transcendental point of view, spiritual point of view. But from a earthly relationship point of view, from a Laukik point of view, Lord Shiva is the son-in-law of Prajapati Daksha. And of course, when the father-in-law comes, father-in-law is like a father figure. So one should offer respect. Prajapati Daksha took great offense that Lord Shiva is married to my daughter Sati, yet he did not offer me respect when I entered the assembly. Let us see what happens. Before taking his seat, however, Daksha was very much offended to see Lord Shiva sitting and not showing him any respect. Namishrayat tad anadrat. Anadritah, not being respected. Na ambishat. Daksha could not tolerate that Lord Shiva did not show him any special respect. At that time, Daksha became greatly angry. And his eyes glowing, he began to speak very strongly against Lord Shiva. Here it is said, Abhiviksha, as he was looking at Lord Shiva, he was looking with such anger that he looked at him as if Dahan Iva, as if he was burning, his eyes were burning hot, glowing with anger, with rage. Daksha was really angry at Lord Shiva just because Lord Shiva did not show him any special respect. Lord Shiva did not disrespect Daksha. Lord Shiva did not disrespect, he did not do anything. Therefore, he is addressed as Mridam, Lord Shiva. He was very peaceful, but he was completely sinless. There was no fault of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva did not do any offense by commission. But in the mind of Daksha, it was an offense of omission. Not commission, but omission. He did not offer respect. And for that reason, he got very angry. Srila Prabhupada says the same thing in the purport. Lord Shiva, being the son-in-law of Daksha, was expected to show his father-in-law respect by standing with others. But because Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are the principal demigods, their positions are greater than Daksha's. Daksha, however, could not tolerate this, and he took it as an insult. Insult by son-in-law. Previously also, he was not very much satisfied with Lord Shiva, for Lord Shiva looked very poor and was niggardly in dress. Lord Shiva is Aniketan. He doesn't have any fixed residence. He lives under a tree. He is very simple, like a Avdhut. completely absorbed in Lord Krishna. And Daksha was a high society man. He belonged to the high class society, considering himself very cultured, very aristocratic, very well behaved, very civilized. These types of people, they look down upon anyone who doesn't fit their standard of expectation. Text 9. Shruyataam Brahma Rishayo me Sahadeva Sahagnayah Sadhunam Bhruvato Vrittam Nanadnyan Nachamatsara. All the sages, Brahmanas, and fire gods present, please hear me with attention. Shruyatam, please hear. Who? Brahma Rishaya, O great sages, Brahmanas. Sahadeva, all the devatas. Saha Agnaya, all the 49 fire gods. Sadhunam Bhruvataha. I am speaking about the behavior of sadhus. I am speaking about etiquette here. Please listen to me. Sadhunam Bhruvato Vrittam. I am talking about the behavior of sadhus here. I am not speaking out of ignorance or envy. Na adnyanat. I am not speaking out of ignorance. Nacha matsarat. And I am not speaking out of envy. Daksha is saying. Before he starts blaspheming Lord Shiva, he is clarifying that listen, O Brahmarshis, listen, O Devatas, listen, O 49 Agni Devas. I am not speak about the etiquette that sadhus, civilized people, Aryans are supposed to follow. And I am speaking this not out of ignorance, and don't think I am speaking out of envy. Purport. In speaking against Lord Shiva, Prajapati Daksha tried to pacify the assembly by presenting it in a very tactful way. That he was going to speak about the manners of gentle person, sadhunam bhruvatu. Further on in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, from the very beginning, Daksha was envious of Lord Shiva. Therefore, he could not distinguish his own particular envy. This is very critical, my dear friends, to understand. Daksha could not identify that he had envy. He is saying, Nacha Matsarat, I am not speaking out of envy. Daksha could not recognize his own envy. This is the nature of false ego. False ego will never allow us to believe that we are doing something out of envy. Our false ego will say, no, no, no. You are speaking this because you're simply speaking about the principles of sabhyata, principles of etiquette, behavior. You are very right. Please continue. Please continue. You are not envious. Don't worry. Don't be afraid of Vaishnava. Go on. That's how our false ego covers up our envy. False ego will never make us believe that we are lusty. No, no, ahar, nidra, bhaya, maithun, these are the necessities, Baba. Just like ahar is necessary, maithun is also necessary. Hare Krishna. False ego will never make us believe that we are proud. No, that's not pride. I mean, you have that service, no? You are a servant leader. What is the harm in you behaving like this? The false ego never allows us to believe that I am lusty, I am greedy, I am angry, I am envious. Always covers it over, sugarcoats it, and presents that you're all right. Because it is very hard to live with guilt. Therefore, the false ego will cover up our anarthas so that we don't feel guilt. Here, Prabhupada says, because he was envious, he could not distinguish his own envy. Although Daksha spoke like a man in ignorance, he wanted to cover his statements by saying that he was not speaking for impudent and envious reasons. I am not being impudent. I am not being envious. Nacha matsara. Many times when we know we are doing something, we do like that. Mukta Sangha Prabhu. Prabhuji, I am not criticizing, but I am just telling you, Prabhuji, this devotee na is like that, Prabhuji. He did. I'm not criticizing. I'm just telling you it's like that, Prabhuji. That's how it happens. I know I'm criticizing. That's why I'm saying, Prabhu, I'm not criticizing. Prabhu, I'm not envious. But I'm just telling you. When we say I am not envious, that means we are envious. Hari bol! So this is what we take from today's Bhagavatam class. Every time we say, Mataji, I'm not criticizing, but I'm just telling you. Jhala, you are criticizing. Prabhuji, I'm not envious. Dhala, I am envious. When the false ego makes us say, I am not this, that means we are that. We are just trying to cover it up because it's very difficult to live with guilt. The false ego cannot bear it. Therefore, it covers it up. Text 10. Ayam tu lokapalanam yashogno nirapatrapaha sadbhir acharitah pantha yena stabdhena dushitaha. Now, the rascal Prajapati Daksha is going to speak. Shamavallavi Mataji has raised her hand. What happened, Mataji?
Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This is the nature of Rajogun or Tamogun Prabhuji, this nature.
What agent?
Always Tamogun or Rajogun nature, always
Oh,
criticizing
nature.
others.
Nature. It is our false ego trying to sugarcoat our anarthas so that we don't feel guilt. I don't know what mode of material nature particularly it comes in. I don't want to speculate. But it is just the nature.
Because here we see Daksha is a Rajoguni person, na? Rajogun.
Yeah, see, nobody
How he
nobody is in any pure mode. Bhagavad Gita explains. It's always a mixture and they are always fighting with each other, competing with each other. For example, Daksha cursing Lord Shiva. That is such a horrendous act to curse the Param Vaishnava. So I wouldn't say that yes, predominantly he may be having this envy, competitiveness, desire for respect. That is Rajogun. But then we see a lot of Tamogun also in Lord Shiva. In fact, when the examples of devotional service or upasana are given in Srimad Bhagavatam, the example of Satvik upasana is Prithu Maharaj. The example of Rajoguni upasana is Dhruv Maharaj because Sthanabhilashi, he wanted to become a king greater than his father. And the example of upasana in the mode of ignorance is Prajapati Daksha because he committed Vaishnava Aparadha in the upasana. So Prajapati Daksha's performance of this yajna is upasana. It is some sort of upasana. It is some sort of practice, devotional practice, because ultimately he is doing it for Lord Vishnu. And later on, Hamsa Guhya prayers will be spoken by Prajapati Daksha only. But this type of upasana is in the mode of ignorance. The upasana done by Dhruv Maharaj to become a king is in the mode of passion. And upasana of Prithu Maharaj, where he gave up his 100 yajna. Let Indra be here, I'll give it up, no problem. That is Satvik. So
So if somebody is criticizing somebody in front of us, what we should do, Prabhuji? When we are in the association of devotees, something like that, it happens, no? Something criticizing. So what we should do that time?
first of all, we should not criticize, but hearing criticism is also aparadha. Srila Haridas Thakur tells in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that I was beaten in 22 marketplaces because from the Qazi, I heard a lot of blasphemy of devotees. So I am part of that offense. Similarly, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one day when he's coming to Srivasangan for Kirtan, he meets some non-devotees on the way who blaspheme bhakti, blaspheme devotees. And Mahaprabhu just walks away and comes. But when he comes to Srivasangan, Mahaprabhu starts the Kirtan and he says, today I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling any happiness because I just saw the face and I conversed with aparadhis. So even hearing criticism is an aparadh. So when some devotee comes and starts criticizing another devotee, blaspheming another devotee, Vaishnava Ninda, we should have the courage to ask them to stop. I don't want to hear. Please forgive me. I don't want to hear criticism of devotees. And if that person is a mature devotee and is telling it out of concern in a very Vaishnava way, without criticizing, he is just warning us, then it is for our welfare. And if the person is our counselor or Shiksha Guru or some superior who is a mature devotee and genuinely cares for us, and to protect us is telling us that be careful of this Vaishnav. He has certain tendencies. You be careful. So that is different from just sitting and finding faults in devotees and criticizing devotees. When someone just sits down and finds faults and criticizes devotees, we should not hear it. It is very detrimental to our bhakti to even hear such talk. What to speak of speaking it. Okay, like that. Divya Mataji will take later, otherwise the whole class will get
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
diverted.
Krishna.
You can mute yourself, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So now Prajapati Daksha is going to start speaking. And it is painful even to read these um, verses spoken by Daksha, but it is ultimately all part of Lord Krishna's Leela. So we will read it. From verse number 10, Prajapati Daksha starts blaspheming our beloved Lord Shiva. Shiva has spoiled the name and fame of the governors of the universe and has polluted the path of gentle manners. Because he is shameless, he does not know how to act. Purport. Daksha wanted to impress upon the minds of all the great sages assembled in that meeting that Lord Shiva, being one of the demigods, had ruined the good reputations of all the demigods by his unmannerly behavior. What was the unmannerly behavior? He did not stand up. That's all. Crores of demigods stood up. That is not enough for Daksha. One Lord Shiva who is superior even to Lord Brahma did not stand up, and he's taking so much offense. He's getting so disturbed. The words used against Lord Shiva by Daksha can be understood in a different way, in a good sense. This is called Saraswat Artha. So there is Shabdartha, Radha Gopinath Prabhu. Whenever all these statements are there, where there is blasphemy of Lord Varahadev, or there is blasphemy of Sri Krishna being spoken by Shishupal, or here there is blasphemy of Lord Shiva spoken by Daksha. There is the Shabdartha, the direct meaning that common people understand when they read the verse where there is blasphemy. But our acharyas like Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they have also given a Saraswat Artha. So there is Shabdartha and there is Saraswat Artha. Saraswat Artha means Saraswati Devi is sitting on the tongue and speaking this with a different purport, different connotation, different meaning. So there is Shabdartha and there is Saraswat Artha. So now Srila Prabhupada is telling the Saraswat Artha, what Mother Saraswati is saying. The good way of looking at it. Srila Prabhupada gives example. For example, Daksha stated that Shiva is Yashogna, which means one who spoils the Yash, spoils the name and fame. So, this can also be interpreted to mean that he was so famous that his fame killed all other fame. Baki logo ke yash ko gna. One who's so famous that he destroys the fame of other lesser people. Again, Daksha used the word Nirapatrapa, which also can be used in two senses. One meaning is one who is stunted, this is the direct meaning, Shabdartha. And another meaning, Saraswat Artha, is one who is the maintainer of persons who have no other shelter. So, Daksha meant that he is Nirapatrapa. He's stunted, he's shameless. But another Saraswat meaning is that one who is the maintainer of those who are shelterless. Anath ho ke nath, Bhutanath, Pashupatinath, Lord Shiva. That is the Saraswat Artha, the good meaning. Generally, Lord Shiva is known as the Lord of the Bhutas or Bhut means all this bhoot pisach, the lower grade of living creatures. They take shelter of Lord Shiva because he is very kind to everyone and is very quickly satisfied. Ashutosh. Therefore, it's called Ashutosh. To such men who cannot approach other demigods or Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva gives them shelter. Hari bol. Bhutanath. Therefore, the word Nirapatrapa can be used in that sense that he gives shelter to those who are shelterless. Anathanche Nath. 11. एष मे शिष्यतां प्राप्तो यन्मे दुहितुरग्रहीत् पाणिं विप्राग्निमुखतः सावित्र्या इव साधुवत्. Daksha is saying, Shiva has already accepted himself as my subordinate by marrying my daughter in the presence of fire and Brahmanas. Duhitu means he has accepted my Praptah Duhitu means he has accepted my Duhitu, my daughter, as his wife. So he's my son in law. He has married my daughter who is equal to Gayatri. Savitra Iva. Savitra Iva. My daughter Sati, she is as good as Gayatri Devi. Means very great, very pure, very chaste, all good qualities. The perfect ideal woman is Sati. He married my daughter who is equal to Gayatri. How dare he? And he has pretended to be just like an honest person. Shiva has pretended to be an honest person, even though he is dishonest. Daksha is saying. Purport. Srila Prabhupada says Daksha's statement that Lord Shiva pretended to be an honest person means that Lord Shiva was dishonest because, in spite of accepting the position of Daksha's son in law, he was not respectful to Daksha. That was a dishonesty. 12. This is the nature of pride. When we are proud of ourselves, we cannot respect others. We cannot see other people's point of view. We are just completely fixated on our own point of view. गृहीत्वा मृगशावाक्ष पाणिं मरकटलोचनः प्रत्युत्थानाभिवादार्हे वाचापकृतनोचितम्. Shiva has eyes like monkey, yet he has married my daughter, whose eyes are just like those of a deer cub, Mrigakshi. Grihitva, Mriga Shav means the deer baby, Aksha. Her eyes are like the eyes of a baby deer. The eyes of a deer are very, very pretty, and baby deer even cuter. So, my dear daughter Sati, her eyes, oh, they are like a baby deer's eyes. And this Shiva, he is Marakatalochana. His eyes are like monkey. Have you seen the eyes of monkey, Satyarupa Mataji, Janani Mataji, when you went to Vrindavan? Don't look in the eyes of the monkey. Sometimes they feel challenged. They get agitated. Hmm? Nevertheless, he did not stand up. He has accepted my Mrigakshi daughter Sati as his wife. He is my son-in-law, but still he did not stand up. Hmm? Pratyuthana means to stand up. Abhivada means to honor. But Krita, no. He did not do it. Even though Uchitam, it was a required honor he should have given me. But no, Krita. He did not do it. Did not stand up. He did not receive me. He did not welcome me. He did not offer any sweet words to me. This Shiva. That was what angered Daksha. Shiva has eyes like a monkey's, yet he has married my daughter, whose eyes are just like those of a deer baby. Nevertheless, he did not stand up to receive me, nor did he think it fit to welcome me with sweet words. 13. Lupta kriyaya shuchaye manine bhinna setave anichanna adambalam shudrayevo shatim giram. Hare Krishna. This is really hitting under the belt. Very bad, Daksha. Daksha is saying, I had no desire to give my daughter Sati to this person who has broken all rules of civility. Because of not observing the required rules and regulations, he is impure. But I was obliged to hand over my daughter to him, just as one teaches the messages of the Vedas to a Shudra. Ushatim Giram means the message of the Vedas. Shudraya Eva. Sometimes you have to speak to the Shudra. You have to teach the Shudra the message of the Vedas. Even they are not qualified. Similarly, I had to give my daughter in marriage to Shiva, even though Shiva doesn't deserve my beautiful daughter, who is just like Gayatri Devi, just like Savitri Devi. Purport. A Shudra is forbidden to take lessons from the Vedas because a Shudra, due to his unclean habits, is not worthy to hear such instructions. This restriction that unless one has acquired the Brahminical qualification, one should not read the Vedic literatures is like the restriction that a law student should not enter a law college unless he has graduated from the lower grades. According to the estimation of Daksha, Shiva was unclean in habits and not worthy to have the hand of his daughter Sati, who was so enlightened, beautiful, and chaste. The words used in this connection are bhinna setave, which refer to one who has broken all the regulations of good behavior. In other words, according to Daksha, the entire transaction of the marriage of his daughter Sati with Lord Shiva was not proper. It was not in order. This is very bad. 14 and 15. Daksha is really committing offenses. Now, if someone is sitting there and listening and saying, what? The marriage of your daughter to Shiva was not proper according to you? What is the reason? So he gives further reason. This is what happens when we start criticizing a Vaishnava, questions may be raised. Huh? Really? But Prabhu, he gives such nice classes. He's such a nice devotee. He comes very regularly. Arey, he may be coming regularly, but he does like this. So now to justify your original blasphemy, you have to blaspheme more to convince the listener. That just becomes uglier and uglier and uglier. Therefore, we should not criticize. प्रेतावासेषु घोरेषु प्रेतैर्भूतगणैर्वृतः अट्यत् उन्मत्तवन्नग्नो व्युक्तकेशो हसन् रुदन् चिताभस्मकृतस्नानः प्रेतस्रन् नरस्थिभूषणः शिवापदेशो ये शिवो मत्तो मत्त जनप्रियः पतिप्रमत्थनाथानां तमो मात्रात्मकात्मनाम्. See, when we already harbor ill feelings towards a Vaishnava, we already have ill feelings towards that Vaishnava. We are already having inimical feelings or envy towards that Vaishnava. It takes just a little instigation to make us go on a rampage against that devotee. So we have to understand the psychology of Daksha. My dear friends, Bhakti Vaibhava devotees, please listen carefully. It is not that Lord Shiva did not stand up, therefore Prajapati Daksha is blaspheming Lord Shiva. You understand? The psychology is Prajapati Daksha was already infected with ill feelings towards Lord Shiva. And this was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. Hare Krishna. This was the critical escape velocity. It was going. It was accelerating from before only. And this was just the final push. Therefore, my dear friends, when the heart starts becoming bitter towards a Vaishnava, we have to address it then and there. Instead of letting those feelings ferment and ferment and ferment and ferment, and then one day at the slightest instigation, bah, the volcano will erupt because it's all building up, building up, building up, building up. So when ill feelings towards a Vaishnava come in our heart, that is the time when very maturely we have to sit down and cleanse our heart towards that devotee and reconcile our feelings, face ourselves and ask ourselves, why do you feel like this about this Vaishnava? Is it worth it? That's the question. Is it worth it? We have to ask ourselves, is it worth it? Is it worth having these ill feelings towards this Vaishnava? Because these ill feelings are going to prevent me from going to Golok Vrindavan. These ill feelings are going to prevent me from entering Raganuga Bhakti. Is it worth it? Really? Is it worth that much? Chhod do. Let it go. See the good in that devotee. Move on. Maybe difficult sometimes, especially when we are not able to move on. Especially when that devotee is very much part of our circle. Very difficult. Easy to say, difficult to do. But we must reconcile it within our mind. We must be at peace in our mind. We should not harbor ill feelings towards another Vaishnava. Otherwise, it will take one little incident, one little instigation, and the volcano of anger and envy and blasphemy will erupt. So we have to nip it in the bud, as they say. We have to address it when the disease is in its infancy. Do not wait for the disease to become a stage 4 cancer. Nip it in the bud. Now, what is Daksha saying? Now, everybody's eyebrows are, oh, you're talking like this about Lord Shiva? Yes! He lives in a filthy place like crematoriums. His companions are ghosts and demons. Naked like a madman, he roams around, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying. Now, remember, these are the symptoms of a pure devotee, as described in the 11th canto. But Daksha sees them as bad qualities. Sripad Ramanujacharya says this is one of the Vaishnava Prats. To see the good quality of a Vaishnava as a bad quality. हमेशा कृष्णा कृष्णा करते रहता है. Impractical. Always talking about Krishna. Always giving Krishna conscious solutions. Always doing kirtan. One husband spat on his wife's face because she was waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, sitting in the corner in the bedroom and chanting. In the month of Kartik. He got up, said, Chai! Sabere sabere, 4 se Hari. Thu. He spat on her face when she was sitting in Brahma Murta and chanting. Because he saw that that's a bad quality. 4 o'clock, you should be sleeping with me in the bed. Instead, you're getting up and sitting there on the floor and chanting. Nonsense habit. Can you imagine what is going to happen to him? Hare Krishna. That is, according to Sripad Ramanujacharya, grave Vaishnava Aparadha. It's the sign of a depraved mind when you see a good quality as a bad quality. Hare Krishna. Another example is there may be some politics and there may be some restrictions on somebody. You cannot speak Harikatha here. And someone comes and speaks Harikatha and you complain that this fellow came in my territory without my permission and he's doing Harikatha. So we are seeing something good as bad. Now imagine somebody is speaking gossip. Do we have a problem? Somebody is talking about news. Do we have problem? Somebody is speaking uh, dirty things. We have a problem? No. Someone comes and sings Hare Krishna and does katha. Now suddenly that has become a big problem that we have to complain against it now. We have to shut down this devotee. So we are seeing something good as something bad. I am saying this because I was in this situation not as a good person, but as a bad person, where I had to question somebody who was doing daily programs in the month of Purushottam. And I was told by some authorities that, why? Ban karo. He's not authorized person. But he's singing Hare Krishna, he's reading Bhagavatam, he's chanting 16 rounds. What is the problem? Somebody is doing something good. Why see it as bad? Just think about this. We want to ban somebody because they are speaking Harikatha, they are inspiring devotees, they are doing satsangs. Why? Because they don't fit in our framework, not authorized by us. Now we will authorize Harikatha. Just see the audacity. So I was also in a very precarious condition when I had to deal with that situation where there was pressure to shut down somebody's Harikatha in the month of Purushottam. So life can be very tricky, and there is Srila Prabhupada in one lecture I was listening. Srila Prabhupada was saying there is no way around becoming mature devotees. There is no way around becoming advanced devotees. Therefore, we must become advanced devotees so we can deal with these situations. Otherwise, you'll be confused. What do I do now? So now here Daksha is seeing the good qualities of Lord Shiva as bad qualities. He does not bathe regularly. How do we know? How does Daksha know that Lord Shiva is not bathing? Kuch bhi. Today I was listening to mm, one speech by His Grace Vrindavan Prabhu. Yes, by His Grace Vrindavan Prabhu from Pune. And he was telling something very nice. In Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir, there was many years ago one person who used to come every day for Mangal Aarti. And he had white beard, he was little elderly, so everybody used to call him Uncle Ji. He was not chanting Hare Krishna on the mala. On the beads, he was not chanting, but he used to come for Mangal Aarti, and then when the japa session would start, he would go. But he would attend the Mangal Aarti, he would attend the Tulsi Aarti, Narsimha Aarti, and then he would go. But every time he would come, he would bring fruits for Radha Gopinath. He would bring one fruit for Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And he would also bring fruits for the temple brahmacharis. His fruits. But the problem was, every time he came, what do we do when we meet devotees? Hari bol Prabhuji, and we embrace. But every time devotees embraced him, they smelled alcohol. The unmistakable stench of alcohol would come from him every single time. So they knew that he has no kanthi, he has no tilak, he's not chanting 16 rounds, and he drinks alcohol. And even Mangal Aarti, रात को पिया हुआ शराब का स्मेल आता है. हरे कृष्ण. सवेरे 5 बजे. Radha Gopinath Prabhu. Very difficult situation. But he was a musician. And he told Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, I would like to teach you 1008 different melodies and in different ragas how to sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the harmonium. And he would come with the harmonium and he would sit with Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj for hours sometimes and teach Maharaj how to sing different melodies of Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the harmonium. Hare Krishna. And the brahmacharis would not like it. ये शराब पी के आता है. महाराज के साथ बैठता है बेचारे. Maharaj doesn't know what his background is. So some brahmacharis went to Param Pujya, His Holiness Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and said, Maharaj, you should not learn harmonium from him. He drinks alcohol and he does not even chant 16 rounds. Maharaj's immediate question was, how do you know he doesn't chant? How does Daksha know that Lord Shiva is not taking bath? Is he going and watching him? CCTV camera, 24-hour surveillance. How does he know Lord Shiva is not taking bath? How do devotees know that this Uncle Ji is not chanting? No, but Maharaj, we don't see that, bead bag around his neck. Maharaj said, even though he is not chanting you think, even though you may think that he's not chanting on beads, he's chanting on reeds. The keys of the harmonium are called reeds, reeds. He may not be chanting on beads, but he's chanting on reeds, 2 hours, 3 hours every day with me. Why you cannot see that? Why you have to judge like this? All you could see is negativity in that person. That person, out of so many millions of people in Mumbai, that person is one of those rare persons who is waking up in the morning for Brahma Muhurta and coming for Mangal Aarti every day. That we will not see. But he may have some habits from before. We are focused on that. And now we want to ban him. And we want to ostracize him. And we want to put him in a box, label him, and trash him away. Why? This is because of pride. We think that if someone is not like me, he is less than me and does not deserve anything. Here, Lord Shiva is being criticized by Daksha as saying he does not bathe regularly. How do you know? He's not bathing regularly. And he ornaments his body with a garland of skulls and bones. Yes, that is true. Why? To remind all of us that this is what is going to happen to you. Munko ki mala. This is what is going to you. Your beautiful face, you're shaving, putting aftershave, putting foundation and makeup. This is what is going to happen. Skull bone. That is all will remain. Bhaja Govindam. That Lord Shiva only came in as Sripad Shankaracharya wrote. Bhaja Govindam. Bhaja Govinda Mudamate. Therefore, so Lord Shiva is wearing skull mala. But the question is why? What is it teaching us? Vaishnava Kriya Mudra, Vigyana Bhuja. Therefore, only in name he is Shiva, auspicious. Actually, he is most inauspicious creature and he is most mad. Shivapadesho hi Ashivo. His name is Shiva, but he is Ashiva. Shiva means auspicious. Thus, he is very dear to crazy beings in the gross mode of ignorance. Tamo matratmakatmanam. He is very dear to those who are in the tamogun. And he is their leader. Pati Pramatha Nathanam. He is the leader of mad people. Daksha is saying. Srila Prabhupada takes this opportunity to beautifully glorify Lord Shiva. Srila Prabhupada writes, those who do not regularly bathe are supposed to be in association with ghosts and crazy creatures. Parents tell us, "Lavkar अंघोळ का सकाळी उठून." Parents tell us, bathe early in the morning. Otherwise, ghosts will capture you. Tell us. Lord Shiva appeared to be like that. But his name, Shiva, is actually fitting. Why? Because Lord Shiva is very kind to persons who are in the darkness of mode of ignorance, such as unclean drunkards who do not regularly bathe. Lord Shiva is so kind that he gives shelter to such creatures and gradually elevates them to spiritual consciousness. This is the greatness of Lord Shiva. He goes to the most fallen and elevates them. This service is very dear to Sri Krishna. Premamatta Nityananda Kiba Avatar Uttama Adhama Kichu Nakare Vichar. Nityananda Prabhu. He delivers the most fallen. Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar Mosama Patita Prabhu Napai Behar. Lord Shiva takes charge of these most fallen people. And therefore it is stated in Vedas, Lord Shiva is all auspicious. By association with Lord Shiva, even such fallen souls can be elevated. This is the glory of Lord Shiva. It's very auspicious. 16. Tasma unmadanathaya nashta shauchaya durhride dattavatmaya sadhvi chodite parameshthina. On the request of Lord Brahma, I handed over my chaste daughter Sati to this Shiva, although he is devoid of all cleanliness. Nashta shauchaya. And his heart is filled with nasty things. Durhride. Lord Shiva's heart is filled with nasty things, he's saying. One who burned Kamdev. One who Trilochan, who burnt Kamdev, is being said ki he has got dirty things in his heart. Acha. This is the nature of false ego. Because Parmeshthi, Brahma told me, I handed over Sati to Shiva. I had no desire to do that. Means, now look at this psychology of Daksha. He is criticizing and blaspheming Lord Shiva. And because he's committing Vaishnava Aparadh, one Vaishnava Aparadh leads to second Vaishnava Aparadh. Now he's finding fault with Lord Brahma also. Lord Brahma with his four heads made a wrong choice. He told me to get my daughter married to this Shiva. It was a mistake. He's blaming his father also now. This is what happens. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, it is duty of parents to hand over their daughters to suitable persons just befitting their family tradition, compatible in cleanliness, gentle behavior, wealth, social position, etc. Daksha was repentant that on the request of Lord Brahma, who was his father, he handed over his daughter to a person who, according to his calculation, was nasty. Dekho. Grandfather has a right to choose a groom for the granddaughter. This is Daksha. Text 17. Maitre uvacha vinindyaivam sa girisham apratipam avasthitam dakshotthapa upasprishya Kruddha Shaptam Prachakrame. The sage Maitreya continued. Thus Daksha, seeing Lord Shiva sitting as if against him, washed his hands and mouth and cursed him in the following words. Arre, 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 arre. To curse, he is doing Achaman. Achaman karke curse. Daksha Prajapati, seeing Lord Shiva sitting, he saw that Lord Shiva was absolutely hostile. Apratipam. Actually, he is the darling husband of his daughter. Lord Shiva is in Daksha's camp. Lord Shiva is a family member of Daksha. Daksha should see him like that. But instead, Daksha is seeing Lord Shiva as a enemy. Hare Krishna. And then he did Achaman. And then he gave Shap. Dakshothapa upasprisha kruddha shaptum prachakrame. He began to curse. Shaptam means Shap, curse. He began to curse Lord Shiva. How? Kruddha, out of anger. We should never do something in anger. And then what Daksha is going to speak, we will hold Daksha's tongue. Chup till next class. Don't speak. So we'll continue that Krishna wedding next time. Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. Nimnaganam yatha Gangam, Devanam Achyuto yatha, Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu, Purananam idam tatha. महाजन लॉर्ड शिवा की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताई गौर हरि बोल यस दिव्या माता जी प्लीज गो हेड
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण
Before I ask my question, I just want to confess that I'm like a very weak devotee, and I cannot, I don't know how to deal with certain situations, and I actually genuinely need help to understand how to deal with the situation that I'm going to talk about. You spoke about Vaishnava Aparadh, but what if we are on the opposite side? As in, suppose a devotee is really hurting us with extremely harsh words and rude words. And it really, like, if a materialist does that, it's easy to tolerate. But if a devotee is like using real harsh words, it becomes impossible to tolerate that. So, and it doesn't help us even to in our bhakti. And you just feel like you want to vent out, and you're hurting and hurting and hurting, but you can't say anything because it'll be Vaishnava Aparadh if you speak anything or
you
retaliate.
you call me and we will discuss this. Okay, don't worry. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other question? चिरायु प्रभु हरि बोल गोवर्धन की तलहटी में बैठे हैं भगवती वसुधा माता जी हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for this very nice discussion. Prabhuji, on the practice of Krishna consciousness we are in the stage of sadhakas. So it is always there that everyone tends to do some mistakes. So in that case, it is also very difficult to come out of that feel of guilt. So how do one come out of it? And after they have come out of it in so and so way, how they will behave in the association of devotees when again some disturbance comes on them. You got the point, Prabhuji? Maybe we have done one mistake at one point, and just with that, we are not able to tolerate the other mistakes that is happening for us.
Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says one of the anarthas is to see a Vaishnava with a lens of the past. So this person has done this in the past. So we are that Vaishnava has moved on, has evolved, has progressed in bhakti, but we still see that Vaishnava like that. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that it's anartha to see Vaishnavas with the lens of the past. We have to see how the Vaishnava is now, if the Vaishnava has moved on. And for example, I know one Vaishnava who at one point, even though ISKCON devotee, was very critical of Srila Prabhupada. Once I told him that Prabhuji, this day is Vishwarup Mahotsav. It is the day Srila Prabhupada took sannyas. He said, Srila Prabhupada sannyas, इसलिए मुझे क्या करना है भाई? मेरे को क्यों बोल रहा है? मेरे को क्या है? क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Prabhupada sannyas ले तो क्या उसमें क्या है? He actually told me that. And over the years, I saw that his love for Srila Prabhupada blossomed. And one day I asked him that Prabhuji, several times you made very nasty comments about Srila Prabhupada, which really hurt me. But now I see that you are becoming eknisht in your surrender to Srila Prabhupada. And I'm very happy to see that. Can you think and tell me why you were so disrespectful towards Srila Prabhupada? He used to say many things. Prabhupada just gave ABCDs. Prabhupada didn't give us any details. Prabhupada doesn't teach Raganuga Bhakti. Prabhupada teaches very basic Vaidhi Bhakti. But now he's very fixed up in his devotion to Srila Prabhupada. So a couple of years ago, I asked him, 3, 4 years ago actually, I asked him that why were you so disrespectful and inimical towards Srila Prabhupada? And he told me I was associating with some devotees very clandestinely who are out of ISKCON. They belong to some other mutt. And he said I was associating with them, and they are seniors. They are actually Prabhupada disciples, ex-Prabhupada disciples who he was associating with. And they harbor this mentality about Srila Prabhupada. They have taken re-initiation or whatever, or they have accepted somebody else outside ISKCON as their Shiksha Guru, and some of them have even changed their names. And he was associating with them. And by associating with them, he had become like that. But then he started associating with some disciples of Srila Prabhupada who are faithful, who are loyal to Srila Prabhupada. And then his faith came back again. So now, if I see him what he was 6, 7 years ago, that will be an offense because he's not like that anymore. He has given up that mentality. He has moved on. He has evolved. He is glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Now he listens to Srila Prabhupada's lectures. He reads mainly Srila Prabhupada's books. Even if he reads other Goswami literature, he reads it in a way that it aligns with Srila Prabhupada. So we all devotees go through different phases, go through different evolutionary stages of life in our spiritual life. And we should have a progressive vision. Now, Nandini. If I say that Nandini, maybe first time I met her, she must be in elementary school. Now, if I keep treating her like she's elementary baby, then it will not be proper. No? She has moved on. She's evolving. She's growing up. She's becoming more and more mature. So we should see how a devotee is today. We should not judge the devotee by what they were in the past. Now, sometimes devotees don't change in certain ways. Who was telling me? Somebody wrote me a message. Prabhuji, tell one thing that is same 15, 20 years ago and one thing that has changed about you. I didn't respond. I don't have time to respond to such questions or messages. That devotee is compiling something about different devotees. But the question got me thinking, and I could not figure out what has remained same. My anarthas are same. So, but we should not judge devotees by what they were. We should see them what they are now, what they are trying to be now, and we should have a progressive vision. Hare Krishna. Does that help?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Should have progressive vision. And if someone doesn't have, then that's unfortunate. What to do? Hare Krishna.
But it is
Huh?
very good to be, it is very good to be in guilt because it helps so much to get closer to Krishna. Is it so?
Yes, Jagai Madai never not felt guilty. There was not a day when they did not cry. Hare, today in Bhakti Sangha Japa group, this question remained unanswered. Who was that devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who later on got the title of Brahmachari? It is Madhavananda Brahmachari, Madhai. He became, when he built the Madhai Ghat, he was given the respectful title of Brahmachari. Brahmachari is a very respectful title. It is Madhavananda Brahmachari. Madhai was given the title Brahmachari. Yeah, there was not a day when Jagai Madhai did not feel guilty. Jagai Madhai did not feel guilty. They felt guilty every single day. There was not a day when Jada Bharat did not feel guilty for his mistake. Itna sab kuch, everything was aligned so perfectly for me to attain Krishna. I was the son of Krishna, Bhagwan Rishabdev Maharaj, incarnation of Krishna. He instructed me. Imagine somebody asks, who is your guru? Bhagwan Rishabdev Maharaj, one of the avatars of the Lord. Who is your Shiksha Guru? Bhagwan Rishabdev Maharaj. Who is your father? Bhagwan Rishabdev Maharaj. And this whole subcontinent is named after him, Bharat Maharaj. What an exemplary life. He gave up everything and took sannyas and went to the holy place, Gandaki river. Shripad Ayendra Prabhu says that the Gandaki river in Nepal is Gupta Vrindavan. Shaligram Shilas appear. The Radharaman, many Radharamans are there. It's Gupta Vrindavan. He was there and he was bhav. He was having bhav for Krishna, bhav platform. He used to cry looking at the Shaligram Shila. Srimad Bhagavatam describes his voice would get choked up when he chanted beautiful mantras for Shaligram Bhagwan. And then he did not even get a human birth, became a deer. And when he, third life, when he was Jada Bharat, there was not a moment when he did not feel guilty for his mistake. There was not a moment when Srila Haridas Thakur did not feel guilty for Brahma Vimohan Leela. Not a moment. So, a healthy guilt should be harbored. Healthy guilt should be maintained. Healthy guilt. The guilt should not be so much that we become depressed and paralyzed by that guilt. We should not be paralyzed by the guilt. Srila Bhakti Tirth Maharaj explains it perfectly. Would you like to know what Srila Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj said? There are two things, Keshav Matha Prabhu. Between two trees, you tie a hammock and you Hawaii Islands mode. You can go. Just relax. And then for divers and swimmers, there is a springboard. Zoo, zoo, zoo. Jump far. Springboard. Srila Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj says, your guilt for the past actions should not become a hammock. It should be a springboard. Yes, you made mistake. Become Haridas Thakur now. Haribol. Yes, you made mistake in Govardhan Leela, Indra. Become Maharaj Pratap Rudra. Mahaprabhu is giving chance. Yes, as Shishupal, you blaspheme. Become Jagai Madai, Jagadananda and Madhavananda, Brahmachari. 2 lakh names every day. Haribol.
Okay.
So the past should be a springboard to make us zoop, go. You have made a mistake. क्या कहीं कमी रह गई देखो और सुधार करो. What was the deficiency that made you make the mistake? Analyze that and move ahead. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. Like that. Can I show all of you something? Please don't be angry with me, but I want to show something. It's a very beautiful poem. One of my favorite poems, okay? So I want to share with all of you. So it is Harivansh. At least the name of the poet is very good. Harivansh. Harivansh Rai Bachchan. What is that? कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती. And one line I want to show in that. I want the lyrics. Maybe here we can see the lyrics. Yeah, you can see now the screen, all of you. It is based on all our Vaishnava Siddhanta. देखो प्लीज अभी यहां पे देखो, बहुत सुंदर है ये. असफलता एक चुनौती है, स्वीकार करो. क्या कमी रह गई देखो और सुधार करो. जब तक न सफल हो नींद चैन को त्यागो तुम. संघर्ष का मैदान छोड़ मत भागो तुम. कुछ किए बिना ही जय जयकार नहीं होती. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. हरि बोल. Shama Vallavi Mataji will give a purport to this now. She ran away. Who knows? Shama Kishori Mataji, yes. Shama Kishori Mataji will explain this. असफलता एक चुनौती है, स्वीकार करो. Whatever failures, whatever mistakes we have done in the past, take it as an opportunity to progress. Take it as a challenge in a healthy spirit. Accept it. Yes, accept. I made a mistake. Alcoholics Anonymous. First step is to accept I have a problem. क्या कमी रह गई देखो और सुधार करो. Why did I fall down? What mistake did I do? Did I eat something that I was not supposed to? Did I watch something on social media I was not supposed to watch? Did I criticize somebody? Did I blaspheme somebody? What was the deficiency? देखो और सुधार करो. Take care now not to commit that again. See how you can avoid that pitfall. जब तक न सफल हो नींद चैन को त्यागो तुम. ध्रुव महाराज. Till we become successful, we should give up sleep and rest. How can we be sleeping and restful until we achieve our goal? Shri Krishna. संघर्ष का मैदान छोड़ मत भागो तुम. Just because you fell down, don't give up bhakti. अरे millions of devotees have attained success on this path. Why you are depressed? Come on, you will also be successful. Don't run away. Don't give up. कुछ किए बिना ही जय जयकार नहीं होती. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. Without doing anything, nobody is going to glorify you. But Guru Maharaj will be very happy when we do something wonderful. How Srila Prabhupada used to encourage his devotees when they did something wonderful for them. How Srila Prabhupada glorified Sri Jayananda Prabhu and other devotees who did something wonderful in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Marathi we say, केल्याने होता आहे रे, आधी केले चिपाहिजे. We should do what we are supposed to do. We should not give up. संघर्ष का मैदान छोड़ में भागो तुम. Very important. Most important line why I shared this whole poem with you is this line. You have to focus on this. क्या कमी रह गई देखो और सुधार करो. असफलता एक चुनौती है, उसे स्वीकार करो. This is a very nice poem by Shri Harivansh Rai Bachchan. So, Nandini, you understood? Okay. If you didn't understand, then you ask Chirayu Prabhu or Devavati Mataji. Hari Bol. Okay. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Janani Mataji, you understood? Hindi you understand, na? Yes. Mukta Sangha Prabhu? Boss. This boss, say that. Vaishnav Thakur. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees. I'm so grateful to all of you for your association.
Thank
Shri
you.
Prabhupada ki jai. ask all to unmute. Please say Haribol. So I
Thank you,
feel
Prabhu. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Krishna
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so much.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam
Krishna.
all good Srila Prabhu.